This question was asked in NLSAT 2022. एक चीज I can assure you, by the time you are done with this lecture, you'll be able to solve this question. Matter of fact, by the time you are done with these 10 lecture videos, you'll be able to solve the entire paper. We know the problem you face. होता क्या है कि even though we know that we have to attempt NLSAT within a few months, but we are very frightened to start the preparation. We see the entire thing as very vast, very gigantic. How do we start? To solve that, we have got something for you. Lofren brings to you our 10 days free NLSAT lecture marathon. Over the course of the next 10 days, हम तुम्हें कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मैनर में पढ़ा देंगे बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट जो पूछे जाते हैं किसमें, NLSAT के पेपर में. वाई इतनी हड़बड़ी क्यों, 10 दिन में क्यों पढ़ना है? सो दैट यू नो कि ऑल द एग्जाम को बस एक साल है, बट वेयर यू आर स्ट्रॉन्ग, वेयर यू आर वीक, वेयर यू हैव टू वर्क हार्डर. थर्डली, वेयर डू यू स्टैंड. बट वो कैसे पता चलेगा यार? बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ दीज 10 डेज ये 10 वीडियो लेक्चर की सीरीज खत्म हो, will get access, free access to attempt Lofren's first all India ranked mock test for NLSAT 2026. इसमें होगा क्या कि apart on getting feedback कि how should you write answers, where should you focus on, you will get to know that where do you actually stand in this entire competitive arena. This mock test is scheduled on 9th of July 2025. Okay, preparation हो गई, mock test हो गई, पता चल जाएगा where do I stand. So इसके बाद करना क्या है? Obviously, Lofren has launched his batches. वो सब तुम्हारे लिए है. You can get it. But added benefit of attempting the mock test, of going through the preparation is the All India rank 1, 2 and 3 in this AIMT will get discounted access to Lofren Pro NLSAT 2026. Mind you, this batch is very special because this is Lofren's 1 year subscription plan for NLSAT 2026. मतलब NLSAT 26 के पहले जितने भी कोर्सेस लॉफ्रेन लॉन्च करे, अभी के 6 प्राइमरी कोर्सेस तो हैं, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट डेडिकेटेड मॉक टेस्ट सीरीज, मटेरियल सीरीज, क्रैश कोर्स, you will have early access to all of that without paying even a penny. This course अभी discounted price में है 24,999 में. You can check it on our website. Apart from that, if you attempt and score a very good rank in the AIMT, you will also have a chance to get this course for even less. So yes, with that said, let's start preparing for our AIMT that is on 9th July, and let's go, because as you know, we as Lofren aim to be. If I had to essentially differentiate between main point questions that were asked in NLSAT and the other type of questions, like वो वाले होते हैं ना, do you agree or disagree, or tell us what is the author's opinion in the passage, it would be कि main point questions में you are sipping a tea while sitting next to the author and looking at his work. However, in the other way, in the author's opinion and author's idea को point out करने वाले questions में, you have to sip the same cup of tea but sit against the author and look at his face. So hey everyone, welcome back to Lofren. This is Surya, and as I said, we are in our day 1 discussing main point questions. And main point questions overly 3 तरह के होते हैं that are asked in our NLSAT paper. Those are, what is the main point, can you sum up the main point, and what's a good title. Dealing with the first part of the questions, essentially these questions, what's the point, are matlab the most common variant of main point questions that you will see coming up in your paper. These questions will ask you to point out कि actually passage में बात हुई क्या थी इतने देर तक. तो herein you will have to point out the central claim of the passage. Mind you, not the central argument. बहुत लोग हम ये गलती कर देते हैं. The central claim and the central argument for that matter, we use it interchangeably, but passage में centrally किस चीज के बारे में बात की गई है. There are multiple arguments in the passage, but the claim, the theme of the passage is a singular one. होता क्या है, when we go with an argument specific approach, we dive into that thing called looking into isolated details instead of looking into the main thing. Your answer should be something that is broad and overarching, that covers the broad and overarching part of the passage, not something that delves into the minor details. With that said, the second type of question will ask you to summarize the passage. It will ask you, can you sum up what has been said in the passage? How are we going to answer this? इसमें होते क्या है ना, 2-3 तरह के तुम्हें ऑप्शंस दे देंगे. One option will be extremely vague. ठीक है, one option will be extremely vague. Most of the times वही सही आंसर होता है. Second option will be vague on the similar level, but in that there will be something that is contradictory to something has been said in the passage. Third option will be very pinpoint. थर्ड ऑप्शन में तुम्हें देखेंगे ओके ये phrases ऑप्शन में है, similar phrases or with some permutation combination similar words are there in the passage, so you will think okay this might be the right option. No, to understand and to summarize the passage effectively you will have to summarize the idea effectively. So you'll have to look for something that is comprehensive and representative of the idea that is presented in the passage. The wrong answer will mostly overemphasize on aspects that are in comparison very small or minor. Third type of question that they will ask you, and these are very tricky ones, the trickiest one, this is the this question and the what's a good title. These questions are generally very rarely they ask. Rarely matlab every paper you will see, but per passage you will not see something like this. And these are the trickiest ones because इसमें discretionary element बहुत आ जाता है. How to deal with this is capture the essence of the passage. You need to capture the core message that the passage was trying to convey. तुम्हें देखना पड़ेगा कि okay something, the name must resonate with the A factual part of the passage and B the thematic part of the passage. मतलब एक passage हो सकता है that may be talking about Ranthambore tigers, जो जंगलों में Ranthambore tigers के बारे में. So that main a good title would be that will somehow express the factual part. Ranthambore tigers का कहीं पे hint कर दिया, stripes मतलब scarred stripes or something like that. And secondly they also hint at the main idea, poaching of Ranthambore tigers के बारे में बात हो रही है, and उन poaching में कैसे villagers included हैं, villagers are also conspiring. So yes, backstabbing or something element of both of them. However अगर last वाले passages में कहीं कहीं बात हो जाएगी कि how government is very inefficient and that is somehow very sensationalized way they were talking about it, do not go ahead and name the passage as the inefficient government's actions led to the murder of tiger. वो वाले टॉपिक को do not cross out. You need to understand the core message that the passage is trying to convey. How Ranthambore tigers, because I have attempted a similar passage, how Ranthambore tigers are actually the soul of the jungle, and how people are actually disrespecting the deity of the jungle, how it is a thing of conspiracy, backstabbing and all of that stuff. उसमें government का action just is an additional detail, additional argument, additional fact that is not the main theme. So yes, these are the three kind of question that will be essentially asked to you regarding this main point question topic in NLSAT. With that said, let us go ahead and see what are the various tips and tricks that are here to solve these questions. So I personally prefer three strategies to attempt these kind of questions. First of all, direct answer before directly jumping into the options. While reading the questions, you need to keep predicting what is going to come up. I call this prediction. When you read a question, you know by after you have read this passage, you know what the passage essentially talks about. So when you read, go ahead and read a question. Before going to the options, you need to call back everything that you have read. Before reviewing the answer choices, summarize the main point in your own words. This helps you clarify, and after this compare your prediction. But this entire thing of prediction actually comes later on. The reason I have said it कि prediction question को attempt करते वक्त पहले करना. But before prediction, while reading a passage, you also need to attempt something very important thing that I call active reading. Today also when we go ahead and solve the previous question, I will show you how to actively read a passage, engage with the passage, engage with the ideas of the passage without adding something new, without having any kind of preconceived notion that is later reflected in your answer sheet. So pay attention to contrast words like however, although, yet, but, because immediately after these words main claims or arguments come up. Immediately after these words points will come up that will determine the flow of the passage. Author का perspective समझो. Every author has some perspective that he is trying to propagate. So understand the perspective. After reading each paragraph, recall what you have read. Each paragraph, tick mark every paragraph. This was a claim made in this paragraph. This was an argument made in this paragraph. This was a claim. This was an argument. And read it like that, so that each paragraph, passage के हर paragraph के बाद, you can recall कि okay, this paragraph dealt with this thing. 3 paragraphs dealt with majorly same ideas and the flow of argument was same. 4th and 5th paragraph maybe dealt with something different. Underline. Generally, question paper में underline करना is not a very good habit, and neither we prescribe this. But yes, however, mentally highlight the key claims. As I said, tick mark the claims mentally or tick mark the arguments mentally that the author is trying to propagate, and read जैसे हर paragraph के after each paragraph restate, mentally restate की what you have read. Another thing, it is kind of a hack. This will not work always. This is not a straitjacket formula, but this will work most of the times. While we are writing something, we follow a very basic formulation of sentences while we write. The first paragraph or the first line of each paragraph typically introduces the main idea. Whatever passage you read, the first paragraph will expose you कि ये passage will talk about this. So you have the main idea, main theme in your mind. Concluding paragraph will summarize the main point. However, this will not work every time because most of the times the passages we are given are not standalone pieces, rather excerpts from something bigger. So usme this thing won't work. But somewhere, if it is a standalone piece, तो पता चल जाता है. Oh, see, summary, last paragraph will be mostly summary. So in that case, if a summary is asked, you can refer to the last paragraph. Thirdly, the first sentence of each paragraph presents a claim and the supporting sentences produce evidence and arguments. Every paragraph के passage के हर paragraph का पहला sentence generally claim के साथ शुरू होता है, and that claim is supported by an argument. That argument is substantiated by a evidence. So yes, look out for these structural cues. Look out for these structural cues while attempting. Actively read the passage, and while reading the question, predict what must be asked next. With that said, let's move to a few mistakes. To avoid these mistakes, you need to be very careful also. A minute, please. So yes, these are a few mistakes that you need to be wary of. First of all, do not go around something that is too narrow. ज़्यादा समय होता क्या है ना, some passages will have something that is very sensationalized, छोटी सी information होगी, and the main point वाला option, that option will be something dealing with very narrow subtopic of the passage. So never go with something that is very narrow A. Never go with something that is very extreme. This to reading comprehension में always you will follow these words: never, any, all. These all words को ना, always, these are red flags for you. Whenever you see something, the words used like always, never, any in the option, rethink. Think twice before taking that option, because 99% of the cases may that will be the wrong one. Then there is beyond the scope. When a passage comes about something called one nation, one election, we have read so much about it कि we will go ahead, and if the main idea in the passage is asked about something, we will go ahead and take the wrong one. इंस्टिंक्टिवली क्यों? क्योंकि पैसेज तो 400 वर्ड का होता है, हमने तो 4000 पढ़ रखे हैं उसमें वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन पे, तो वी नो द मेन पॉइंट ऑफ द पैसेज बेटर देन द ऑथर एट दिस पॉइंट. So no, do not do that. Stay, guard yourself within the contours of the passage. Do not expand beyond that. Do not propose an idea. Do not take the idea that has not been well said or well explained in the passage. Fourthly, do not take something contradictory. होता क्या है ना, एक स्ट्रेट जैकेट मतलब while you keep on attempting these questions, you catch a pattern कि the option that is very broad in the sense is the correct option. उसमें although you have noticed a very good pattern, the mistake in that is sometimes the question drafters also know this. So sometimes what they do, trick you with two very broad options. उसमें you will have to see कि which broad line or which broad statement is inherently contradictory to the information supplied to us in the passage. Once you do that, you are good to go. Now that we are done with these basic things of what are main point questions, how to attempt them, and how not to make a mistake, वो जो क्वेश्चन शुरुआत में दिखाया था ना 2022 वाला, let's solve that. So yes, let's now read this passage together. Trying to imagine a post-COVID artistic universe while we are facing a new virus variant is risky, but we need to begin thinking of that possibility. As I said, major idea, first paragraph में they gave away. Since March 2020, our minds have been stuck, cemented to present and the immediate past. Done. Second one is like a fact. Evidence देते हैं ना, वही वाली चीज़ है. In this 2-year span, when our social media face became our real face, good claim. Real self portfolios conjured by social media such as content creator, influencer have become much more impactful. Claim continued. People who are adorned with these titles behave in an artist-like manner. ये बन गया argument. And produce things that have a semblance to art. But are they artists? Are they creating art? This went ahead as an argument. We have to differentiate between artist and the content creator. बन गया एक और ये. The influencer at times, all artists are content creators, but all content creators are not artists. Got it. Influencer at times is an upgraded content creator, garnered enough attention, monetized status effectively. Many artists, isko ek और line, another claim. Many artists are not sure which category membership they seek, would like to be artists to create content. Okay, एक line of evidence and fact as we were talking about. But the last 2 years have shown that qualities of artistry can be sacrificed at the altar of content that has potential for virality. The second paragraph very very openly gives out the main idea of the passage. क्या बात की गई है? I will just summarize the second paragraph if I had to. All artists are content creators, but all content creators are not artists. So yes, this is how I remember the second paragraph. मुझे पता चल गया किस किस चीज के बारे में बात की गई है. That artistry can be sacrificed at the altar of content creation. Next paragraph को चलते हैं. Where is art in all this? Some may believe that the discussion is highbrow elitism. Okay, खुद के point को ये rebut किया. Do we artists need not ponder over ethics of art creation? Okay. आर्टिस्ट को भी आर्ट क्रिएशन के एथिक्स पे पॉन्डर करना चाहिए. रिसेंटली बाय द वे यू मस्ट बी सीइंग द आईपीआर इश्यूज. दिस इज अ टिप फॉर योर सीए थिंग. Read around these IPR issues around the art and digital art that AI generates. Ghibli art, the Chat GPT entire fiasco of Miyamoto sir, and everything. Do give a read to that. That will be asked in your paper. Huh. The do we artists need need to ponder over the ethics of art creation? Its social response, social positionality, energy. Let us not conflate social media circus. Social media को circus बुला दिया. We are getting the perspective of the author here. With our respective, we have questioned the influential. It's amusing that even those agree with social media algorithm picks out vulnerabilities and essential illusion and able to see. Got it. The same extension. What about artists who have been unable to work this numerically orchestrated hidden mechanism? They will let only because they do not have. जो artists social media का game play करना नहीं जानते, they have been thrown away. Are we just going to say they lost because they did not adapt? Just because you did not adapt, are you not a good enough artist? Great passage, to be honest. It is our responsibility to take care of them and ensure that injustice is not meted out. Okay. There is no one art, mainstream social culture का artist who belong to art. Okay. Marketplace struggle के बारे में बात कर दी. यहाँ पे no entry zones बन गए. Lastly, they talk. Okay. See, the last paragraph talks about overreach by the government, and I have this prediction कि होगा क्या कि they will give you an option when we go to the main point question, ask you something that will sensationalize this paragraph. Dekhna. I can bet my A on that. Which of the following most accurately, comprehensively main idea? First kind of ये जो first kind of question था. क्या rule है? Not same. Whatever ये same कोई भी isolated detail पे नहीं जाना है. Overarching message. Digital media and social media have had adverse impact on art. It is important that space be created for artists who are unable to work in the digital medium to showcase their work so that it can reach a larger audience. ये कहाँ बात हुई भाई कि space create होना चाहिए? Nowhere. बात ये हुई कि वो लोग adapt नहीं कर पाए. Where did we talk that a separate space needs to be created? No. This is beyond the scope of the passage. Out. Art and art forms change continuously, and those who argue that artists should not change, that they should not know, are guilty. Very extreme language. Extreme options are a no. Public places have been feverishly wasted. Okay, taught us such places should always be kept in readiness for some medical emergency. A, beyond the scope. B, sensationalized. Cross. So even by the method of elimination, we know what is the correct answer. But even if you see the correct option, the increasing importance of digital medium, social media, lack of access affected both art and artists have suffered. Overarching message, central theme covered. Kuch aur nahi chahiye. That was enough. So yes, everyone, this was our lecture 1 for you. Herein we dealt with main point questions, talked about different types of them, how to solve them, how to avoid making any errors, and solved one together. The notes of this lecture are available at our free course on nlsat.in. Check out the NLSAT 2026 free batch there. Then you will be given a Google form. Fill out that Google form. You will get notes of this lecture. Apart from that, you will get additional previous year questions dealing with this theme. so that you can prepare as effectively for, remember, our All India ranked mock test on 9th of July. With that said, this was Surya from Lawfriend. Have a great day ahead and obviously aim to be.
Are you preparing for 3-year LLB entrance exams but feeling overwhelmed and unsure where to start? Do you struggle with finding the right resources, guidance and clarity, all in one place? Tired of institutions selling just mock tests or rebranding old materials meant for other exams and charging a fortune for it? Introducing Lawfriend, your one-stop solution for 3-year LLB entrance exams. Lawfriend brings you cutting-edge tools to supercharge your preparation. With our exams portal, you can participate in live All India tests and instantly see your rank, giving you real-time insights into your performance. Practice questions on individual topics, sharpen your skills, and get exam ready with confidence. Lawfriend, aim to be.